Wednesday morning shouldn't start with your wife disappearing and her boss calling you like some kind of mafia handler. But that's exactly what happened. I was in the kitchen, staring at Linda's half-drunk coffee cup, when my phone buzzed. The name on the screen made my stomach drop. Victor Alden, Linda's boss, the real estate mogul who paid her too much to be just an administrative assistant and called at weird hours about urgent matters that never seemed all that urgent. "Mr. Harran," he said, no preamble, no small talk. His voice had that smooth executive quality that made everything sound like a polished threat. "I found something. Come to my office right now." I opened my mouth to ask what the hell he was talking about, but he cut me off. "And don't tell your son or your daughter-in-law. You could be in danger." I stood there holding the phone, trying to process what just happened. Linda had been gone since yesterday morning. No note, no text. Her car was still in the garage. Her purse was on the kitchen counter. It was like she'd evaporated mid-routine. I'd called Tyler last night, my son, thinking maybe she'd mentioned something to him. He'd been weirdly dismissive. "Is Mom finally doing what she should have done years ago?" he'd said, and then laughed like it was some private joke I wasn't in on. I should have pressed him on that. I didn't. Now Victor Alden was telling me not to talk to my own kid about my missing wife. I grabbed my keys and headed out. The drive to Alden Tower took 20 minutes through the kind of small-town sprawl that always reminded me of Stephen King novels. Strip malls with half-empty parking lots, a Dairy Queen that had been temporarily closed for 3 years, people walking dogs that looked miserable in the heat. This was the kind of place where everyone knew everyone's business, except when it mattered. Then suddenly, nobody saw anything. Alden Tower stuck out like a glass and steel middle finger in the center of downtown. 15 stories of corporate showboating surrounded by buildings that hadn't been updated since the 80s. Victor Alden liked people to know he was successful, liked them to look up at his tower and feel small. I parked in the visitor lot and walked through the lobby. Marble floors, chrome fixtures, a receptionist who looked at me like I'd tracked dog shit on her perfectly polished tiles. "Michael Harran," I said. "Mr. Alden is expecting me." She made a call, nodded, pointed to the elevator. "14th floor, someone will meet you." The elevator ride felt longer than it should have. My reflection stared back at me from the polished doors. 58 years old. Gray starting to win the war against brown in my hair. Lines around my eyes from squinting at HVAC blueprints for 3 decades. I looked tired. I looked like a man whose wife had just vanished and whose son had made a joke about it. The doors opened, and I froze. Standing in the hallway, right outside Victor Alden's office, was my daughter-in-law, Megan. She was dressed in one of those outfits that cost more than my monthly mortgage payment. Designer jeans that probably had some Italian name I couldn't pronounce. A blazer that fit like it had been tailored specifically for her frame. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a way that made her look older, more severe. She was on her phone, texting furiously, and when she looked up and saw me, her expression went through 3 distinct phases in about 2 seconds. Surprise, annoyance, calculation. "Michael," she said, sliding the phone into her purse. "What are you doing here?" "Victor called me," I said, stepping out of the elevator. "About Linda." Something flickered across her face. Not worry, not concern, something else. Something that made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. "Oh," she said. "Right, of course. What are you doing here?" "Just meeting with Tyler. He had some business with Mr. Alden." "Tyler's here." "Was. He left about an hour ago." An hour ago. Before Victor called me. Before he told me to come alone and keep my mouth shut about my own family. "Megan, where's Linda?" She blinked at me with those wide blue eyes that had charmed Tyler 6 years ago and had been charming money out of our family ever since. "I don't know, Michael. I thought that's why you were here, to find out." The office door opened, and Victor Alden stepped into the hallway. He was 61, but looked 50. Expensive suit. Hair professionally styled in that way that's supposed to look casual but costs $200. He saw Megan and his jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. "Mrs. Harran," he said, voice cool. "I thought you left with your husband." "Just finishing up some texts," she said brightly. "I'll get out of your way." She walked past me toward the elevator, and as she did, she leaned in close enough that I could smell her perfume. Expensive. Cloying. "Be careful," she whispered. "Victor's not telling you everything." Then she was gone, the elevator doors closing behind her with a soft chime. Victor gestured me into his office. "Come in, Michael. We need to talk." The office was exactly what you'd expect. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the town, mahogany desk that probably cost more than my truck, leather chairs, abstract art on the walls that looked like someone had thrown paint at a canvas and called it genius. But what caught my attention was the box on his desk. Linda's things, her reading glasses, the silver bracelet I'd given her for our 20th anniversary, her employee ID badge, her car keys. "Where did you find these?" I asked, my voice coming out rougher than I intended. "She left them in her desk drawer yesterday," Victor said, closing the door behind us, "along with her resignation letter." He handed me a piece of paper, Linda's handwriting, neat, precise. "I can no longer work under these conditions. Effective immediately, I resign my position. I will not be returning. Please forward my final paycheck to my personal account. Linda Harran." "What conditions?" I demanded. "What the hell happened?" Victor walked to his desk, sat down, folded his hands in front of him like he was about to deliver bad news to a child. "Your wife and I had a disagreement 2 days ago about some sensitive company matters. Nothing illegal, nothing scandalous, just strategic differences. She was upset. She said she needed time to think, and then yesterday morning she came in, cleaned out her desk, and left." "That doesn't sound like Linda." "I know. That's why I called you. And why did you tell me not to tell Tyler or Megan?" Victor's expression shifted. That's when I knew we were getting to the real reason I was here. "Because," he said slowly, "your son and daughter-in-law were in this office yesterday afternoon, before Linda left, and the conversation they had with me was concerning." "Concerning how?" He reached into his desk drawer and pulled out a folder, slid it across the mahogany surface toward me. "They wanted to discuss your wife's mental state. They suggested she might be experiencing some kind of breakdown. They asked me if I'd noticed any erratic behavior, any signs of instability." I stared at the folder but didn't touch it. The room felt colder suddenly, like someone had cranked the AC up to Arctic. "Open the folder," Victor said. I did. Inside were printouts of social media posts. Megan's accounts, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all posted in the last 48 hours. Worried about family situations beyond my control? Prayers needed? Some people shouldn't be left unsupervised. Just saying. Mental health is so important. Watch for warning signs in your loved ones. Each post had dozens of comments. People asking what was wrong. People offering sympathy. People speculating about who Megan was talking about. And in the comments, Megan dropping hints, never naming Linda directly, but making it clear enough that anyone who knew our family would understand. "She's building a narrative," I said quietly. "Yes," Victor agreed. "And I don't know why, but I do know this. Your wife left because of something your son and his wife did. She told me that much before she walked out. She said they'd backed her into a corner and she couldn't see any other way out." "Did she say where she was going?" "No. But Michael, there's something else you need to see." He turned his computer monitor toward me and pulled up security footage. The timestamp showed yesterday morning. 9:47 a.m. The camera showed the parking lot entrance, Linda's car pulling in, Linda getting out. But she wasn't alone. Tyler was with her. They were arguing. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but the body language was clear. Linda was angry, pointing. Tyler was calm, hands in his pockets, that smug little smile on his face that he'd had since he was 12, and learned he could talk his way out of trouble. Linda pulled away, walked toward the building entrance. Tyler followed. The footage cut to an interior hallway camera. 10:15 a.m., Linda leaving Victor's office. Tyler waiting outside, more arguing. Linda shoving past him, Tyler grabbing her arm. She yanked free and walked away, disappearing around a corner. The next clip showed Tyler entering Victor's office at 10:47 a.m., Megan joining him 5 minutes later. The final clip was from 11:30 a.m., Linda's car leaving the parking lot. Alone. "Your son was in here before you arrived," Victor said. "This morning. He wanted to know if I'd heard from Linda. He seemed very interested in whether she'd made any financial transactions, whether she'd accessed any company accounts. I told him I hadn't heard from her and he should focus on being supportive rather than worrying about money." "What did he say?" "He said that everything I thought I knew about Linda was wrong, that she'd been manipulating me for years, that I should protect myself legally before she tried to take me for everything I had." I stood up so fast my chair nearly tipped over. "He said that? About his own mother?" "I'm sorry, Michael. But yes. Why are you telling me all this? Why not call the police?" Victor leaned back in his chair, studying me. "Because I don't think your wife is missing in the sense that requires police intervention. I think she's hiding from her own children. And I think you need to find out why before they do something irreversible." He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a USB drive, handed it to me. "That's all the security footage from the last 72 hours, everything I showed you and more. I suggest you watch it carefully. And Michael, be very careful about who you trust, including family, especially family." I took the USB drive, my hand shaking slightly. "One more thing," Victor said as I turned to leave. "Your son tried to access Linda's personnel file this morning. He claimed he had power of attorney. I told him that was ridiculous since Linda is clearly alive and capable of making her own decisions. He got very angry, threatened to sue, said I'd regret not cooperating." Jesus Christ. "Check your bank accounts," Victor said quietly. "Check everything. If they're moving against Linda, they might be moving against you too." I walked out of that office feeling like the floor was tilting under my feet. The elevator ride down was a blur. I kept seeing Tyler's face in that security footage, that smile, that casual cruelty. When I got to my truck, I sat in the driver's seat for a full 5 minutes before I could make myself turn the key. My phone buzzed. Text message. Tyler. "Hey, Dad, any word from Mom? Getting worried? Maybe we should file a missing persons report?" I stared at the message, typed and deleted 3 different responses, finally settled on, "Not yet. I'll keep you posted." His reply came back instantly. "Kay, let me know if you need anything. We're here for you." "We're here for you." I pulled up my banking app, logged into the joint account Linda and I had shared for 30 years, the account where our paychecks got deposited, where we paid the mortgage from, where we'd saved for Tyler's college education and his wedding and every goddamn thing we thought was important. The balance showed $847. It should have been close to $30,000. I clicked on recent transactions. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. Withdrawal, $10,000. 2 days ago. Description: emergency family expense. Tyler Harran authorized. Withdrawal, $5,000. Yesterday morning. Same description. Withdrawal, $8,000. Yesterday afternoon. Same description. Transfer to external account, $6,000. Last night. Description: keeping Dad safe. Tyler Harran authorized. Keeping Dad safe. I was going to be sick. I called the bank. Got some customer service rep who sounded like she was reading from a script. "Yes, Mr. Harran, your son Tyler is listed as an authorized user on the account. Has been for 6 years. Any authorized user can make withdrawals or transfers without secondary approval. I never authorized him. According to our records, you signed the form in May of 2019. It's right here in our system. I want to see that form. Of course, I'll email you a copy. Is there anything else I can help you with today?" "Yeah. Remove Tyler from the account. immediately. I can certainly start that process, but it requires both account holders to sign off. Since Linda Harran is also an owner, we'll need her signature as well. My wife is unavailable right now. Then I'm afraid we'll have to wait until she's available. Bank policy. I hung up before I said something I'd regret. The email arrived 30 seconds later. I opened the attachment. Authorization form, my signature at the bottom. Dated May 15, 2019. The day before Tyler's 30th birthday. Linda and I had thrown him a party. Big barbecue. All his friends. Megan showing off her new engagement ring, even though they'd already been married for 2 years. I remembered that day. I remembered signing something. Tyler had said it was just paperwork for some investment opportunity he wanted to include us in. A way to make sure we were protected if anything happened to him. I'd been drunk, happy, proud of my son. I'd signed without reading, and now, 6 years later, he'd drained our savings account and called it keeping Dad safe. I sat in that parking lot for another 20 minutes, trying to breathe, trying to think. Then I pulled out the USB drive Victor had given me and drove home. Our house looked exactly the same as it had that morning. Small ranch-style place on a quiet street. The lawn needed mowing. The gutter on the east side was still crooked from last winter's storm. Everything normal, everything fine. Except my wife was gone and my son had stolen our life savings and I didn't know who the hell to trust anymore. I went inside, locked the door behind me, closed all the blinds. Paranoid. Maybe. But Victor's warning kept echoing in my head. Be careful about who you trust, including family, especially family. I pulled out my laptop, plugged in the USB drive, and started watching footage. 3 hours later, I knew the truth. And it was so much worse than I'd imagined. Before we continue, hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We'd love to get to know our audience better. The footage played on my laptop screen in grainy security camera quality, but the betrayal came through in high definition. May 12th. 3 days before Tyler's birthday party. The timestamp showed 3:17 p.m. Linda's car in the Alden Tower parking lot. Tyler's car pulling up next to hers. They got out. Linda looked stressed. Tyler looked calculating. The camera angle wasn't great, but I could read enough of the body language. Tyler showing Linda something on his phone. Linda shaking her head. Tyler pointing at the building, gesturing. Linda putting her hands up like she was trying to stop whatever he was saying. Then Megan's car arrived. She got out wearing workout clothes and sunglasses, looking around like she was checking for witnesses. She joined the conversation. Whatever they were saying made Linda visibly upset. She was backing away, hands out in front of her defensively. Tyler grabbed her arm, not hard enough to hurt, but firm enough to keep her from leaving. Megan moved closer, trapping Linda between them and the cars. The conversation lasted 11 minutes. By the end, Linda was crying. Tyler was smiling. Megan was texting on her phone, not even bothering to look at Linda anymore. Linda got in her car and drove away. Tyler and Megan stayed for another few minutes, talking. Then Tyler pulled out his phone and made a call. 30 seconds long. He smiled the whole time. I checked my phone records from that date. Tyler had called me at 3:41 p.m., asked if I was free that weekend to help him move some furniture, asked if Linda would be around to help Megan plan the birthday party, asked if we'd thought about updating our will recently. I'd thought nothing of it at the time, just Tyler being Tyler, always a little too interested in logistics, in planning, in making sure everything was organized the way he wanted it. Now I watched him in that parking lot, watched him trap his own mother between 2 cars and make her cry, and I wanted to put my fist through the laptop screen. I kept watching. The footage jumped to June 3rd, Tyler entering Alden Tower at 2:30 p.m. Linda's car wasn't in the lot yet. She had another 30 minutes before her shift started. Tyler went inside. The interior cameras showed him going not to Victor's office on the 14th floor, but to the third-floor records department. He talked to someone at the desk, showed his ID. The clerk looked uncertain, but eventually walked away and came back with a file. Tyler photographed every page with his phone, handed the file back, thanked the clerk, left. I recognized that file. Linda's employment records, her salary information, her benefits package, her emergency contact information, which listed Tyler and me as co-contacts. He'd used that access to get into places he shouldn't be. The footage jumped again. August 19th. Late evening after business hours. Tyler's car in the parking lot. He was on the phone, pacing. The call lasted 37 minutes. At 10:47 p.m., a black sedan pulled into the lot. A man got out. Older, maybe mid-60s. Suit even at that hour. He and Tyler talked for 15 minutes. The man handed Tyler an envelope. Tyler handed the man something small. They shook hands. Both left. I had no idea who the man was. The footage continued. September, October, November. Tyler showing up at odd hours, meeting with people I didn't recognize. Always careful, always watching the cameras, like he knew they were there, but didn't care because he thought he was too smart to get caught. December 18th. Tyler and Megan entering Alden Tower together at 7:15 a.m. Victor wasn't in yet. Linda had already been at work for an hour, her car in its usual spot. They went to the 14th floor, Victor's office. The door was locked, but Tyler pulled something from his pocket. Some kind of key or card. The door opened. They went inside. Closed the door. 45 minutes later, they came out. Tyler was carrying a folder. Megan was carrying a small box. They left. At 9 a.m., Victor arrived. The camera showed him entering his office, then immediately coming back out. He looked confused, angry. He went to the phone, made a call. I checked the date against my own records. December 18th. Linda had come home from work that day looking exhausted. Said Victor had been in a terrible mood. Said she'd been accused of moving files around without permission. She'd been defensive about it, which wasn't like her. Linda was always calm, always logical. Now I knew why she'd been defensive. Her son had broken into her boss's office and stolen files, and Victor thought she'd done it. The footage jumped to 3 weeks ago. Tyler entering the building at 4:30 p.m. Linda's shift ended at 5:00. He went straight to the parking lot level, to the employee break room. Interior cameras showed Linda sitting alone, eating a sandwich, reading something on her phone. She looked tired, older than her 56 years. Tyler walked in. Linda looked up, and her expression went from neutral to guarded in an instant. They talked. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could see Linda's face. Shock, anger, fear. She stood up, started to leave. Tyler blocked the door. The conversation got heated. Linda was pointing at Tyler, shouting. He just stood there, calm, hands in his pockets. That smile. Finally, Linda shoved past him and left. Tyler stayed in the break room for another minute, then pulled out his phone and typed something. A text. Probably. Long one. I checked my phone. No messages from Tyler that day. He hadn't been texting me. I pulled up Megan's social media accounts. Found a post from that exact timestamp. Family drama is exhausting. Some people never grow up. 47 likes, 23 comments. What happened? Are you okay? Sending prayers. And Megan's responses, carefully vague, but pointed enough to paint a picture. Just dealing with someone who can't handle reality. It's sad, really. She was talking about Linda, publicly, to hundreds of people. I kept watching footage until my eyes burned. Kept seeing Tyler and Megan moving around that building like they owned it. Kept seeing Linda looking more and more cornered with each passing week. The final clip was from yesterday morning, the one Victor had already shown me. Linda and Tyler arguing in the parking lot, Linda leaving in her car, alone. But there was one more clip, later that same day. 3:22 p.m. Tyler's car pulling up to our house, my house. I watched as Tyler got out, walked up to the front door. He had a key. He let himself in. Our security camera only covered the front door, but I could see him going inside. He was in there for 18 minutes. When he came out, he was carrying something. A small, fireproof lockbox, the one Linda and I kept important documents in. Birth certificates, social security cards, the deed to the house, our wills. He put it in his car and drove away. I stood up from the laptop so fast I knocked my chair over, went to the closet where we kept the lockbox, on the top shelf, behind winter coats. It was gone. I checked the bedroom. Linda's jewelry box was still there. Her clothes were still in the closet. Everything else was untouched. But that lockbox was gone. I called Tyler, tried to keep my voice steady. "Hey, Dad," he answered, bright and cheerful. "Any news? Did you stop by the house yesterday?" A pause. "What? No. Why?" "I've got you on security camera, Tyler, letting yourself in, taking the lockbox." Another pause. Longer this time. "Oh," he said, and the brightness in his voice evaporated. Yeah, sorry. I should have mentioned it. I was just keeping your stuff safe. You know, with Mom missing and everything. Didn't want anyone breaking in and stealing important documents." "Anyone like who?" "I don't know, Dad. Identity thieves, burglars. Mom's unstable right now. Who knows what she might do?" "Mom's unstable." "Come on. You've seen it too. The mood swings, the paranoia. She's been getting worse for months. I talked to Megan about it. We're worried about both of you." "Give me back my documents." "Sure, of course. I can drop them by tomorrow, or you can come pick them up. Whatever's easier." "I want them back tonight." "Dad, I'm in the middle of something. Can it wait until morning?" "No, it can't. Bring them back or I'm calling the police." His tone shifted, got colder. "That would be a mistake. You don't want to involve the police in this. Trust me." "Are you threatening me?" "I'm trying to protect you. From Mom, from yourself, from making decisions you'll regret. Just take a breath. Get some sleep. We'll talk tomorrow when you're thinking clearly." He hung up. I stood in my living room, holding a phone pressed against my ear with nobody on the other end, and I realized something fundamental had shifted. My son wasn't just betraying Linda, he was coming for me too. I needed help. I needed someone I could trust, someone outside this mess. Linda's sister, Rachel, she lived 2 hours away in a bigger city, worked as a paralegal, had always been the pragmatic one in Linda's family. She and Linda talked every week. If Linda had told anyone what was happening, it would be Rachel. I called her. It rang 6 times before she picked up. "Michael?" She sounded surprised. "Is everything okay?" "No, I need to see you. It's about Linda." "What about her? Is she all right?" "I don't know. That's why I need to talk to you. In person, not over the phone." A long silence. Then, "Come to my apartment. I'll text you the address. When can you be here?" 2 hours. I'll be waiting." She hung up. I grabbed my keys, my wallet, the USB drive, locked the house, got in my truck. As I pulled out of the driveway, I saw a car parked 3 houses down. Black sedan, tinted windows, same kind of car from the security footage, the one that met Tyler in the parking lot back in August. I drove past it slowly. The windows were too dark to see inside, but I could feel someone watching. I turned at the corner and accelerated, checked my rearview mirror. The sedan pulled out and followed. I took a random series of turns through the neighborhood. The sedan stayed with me, maintaining a steady distance. Professional, not trying to hide but not making it obvious either. I got on the highway heading toward Rachel's city. The sedan followed for 20 miles, then exited. Maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe it was just some random person who happened to be going the same direction. But I didn't believe in coincidences anymore. Rachel's apartment was in a decent part of town. Older building, well-maintained. She buzzed me in and met me at her door. She was 55, looked like an older version of Linda. Same sharp eyes, Same direct way of looking at you like she could see through bullshit. "Come in," she said. "You look terrible." I feel terrible. Her apartment was small but clean, books everywhere, legal documents stacked on a desk near the window. She gestured me to the couch and sat across from me in an armchair. "Tell me everything," she said. So I did. Started with Linda disappearing, went through the meeting with Victor, the social media posts, the bank account, the security footage, Tyler breaking into our house, the black sedan following me. She listened without interrupting. Her expression got darker with each detail. When I finished, she sat back and rubbed her eyes. "I was afraid of this," she said. "Afraid of what?" "Linda called me 2 weeks ago. She was panicking. Said Tyler and Megan had trapped her in some kind of scheme. Said they were going to ruin her if she didn't cooperate. I told her to go to the police. She said she couldn't. Said they had something on her. Some kind of leverage." "Leverage? Linda doesn't have secrets." "Everyone has secrets, Michael. Even your wife." She stood up, went to her desk, pulled out a folder, handed it to me. "She sent me this. Told me to keep it safe. Said if anything happened to her, I should give it to you." I opened the folder. Inside were documents, lots of them, emails, text messages, bank statements, legal papers. The first email was from Tyler to Megan, dated 6 months ago. "Mom won't cooperate. Time to move to phase 2. Start the social media campaign. Make sure everyone knows she's unstable. We need documentation." Another email, from Megan to someone named Jay Portman. "How hard is it to get someone declared mentally incompetent? Asking for a friend." A text message chain between Tyler and an unknown number. "We need her signature on the house transfer. She won't give it willingly." "So forge it. You've done it before." "Yeah, with Dad. He was drunk. Mom's not stupid." "Then make her stupid. Stress does amazing things to people's judgment." I felt sick. Keep reading through the documents. Found a bank statement from an account I didn't recognize. Joint account, Linda's name and Tyler's name. Balance, $847,000. "What the hell is this?" I asked Rachel. "That," she said quietly, "is the money from the sale of your mother's house." My mother had died 3 years ago, left her house to Linda and me. We'd sold it, split the money, or at least I thought we had. The check had been deposited into what Tyler told us was an estate account that would distribute the funds after taxes. We'd never seen a dime. "Tyler controlled the estate account," Rachel said. "He was the executor. He transferred everything into that joint account with Linda's name on it. Told her it was for tax purposes. Then he started withdrawing money. Small amounts at first. Then bigger. Linda didn't notice until it was too late. When she confronted him, he told her if she said anything, he'd tell everyone she was stealing from you. That she'd manipulated him into setting up the account. That she was mentally ill and trying to hide assets before a divorce. That's insane. That's Tyler." I kept reading. Found a document that made my hands shake. A property transfer form, dated 3 months ago. My signature at the bottom. Transferring the deed to our house from me and Linda to Tyler Harran. "I never signed this," I said. "I know. Linda suspected it was forged. She was trying to gather evidence to prove it. That's why she was working so many late nights. She was searching Victor's files for copies of the original documents before Tyler altered them." "Why didn't she tell me?" Rachel looked at me with something close to pity. "Because Tyler told her if she involved you, he'd make sure you lost everything. Your pension, your reputation. He'd tell your employer you were embezzling. Plant evidence if he had to. Linda was trying to protect you the only way she knew how. By handling it herself. By running away. By disappearing before Tyler could finish whatever he was planning. She knew he was building toward something. Some final move that would destroy both of you. She just didn't know what it was." I sat there holding documents that proved my son was a criminal. That he'd been stealing from us for years. That he'd manipulated and threatened and forged and lied. "Where is she now?" I asked. I don't know. She wouldn't tell me. Said it was safer if I didn't know. She said she'd contact me when it was over. Whatever it is. Does Tyler know you have this folder? I don't think so. But Michael, you need to be careful. Tyler isn't working alone. That lawyer, Jay Portman, she's real. She specializes in elder law and competency hearings. Tyler's been building a case to have you declared mentally incompetent. He's got doctors lined up, medical reports, testimony from friends and neighbors about your erratic behavior. What erratic behavior? I'm fine. I know that. You know that. But Tyler's spent 6 months planting stories, telling people you're forgetful, confused, making bad decisions. He's laying groundwork. For what? For taking control of everything. Your house, your money, your life. Once he gets you declared incompetent, he becomes your legal guardian. He controls your assets, makes all your decisions, and Linda can't do anything about it because he'll claim she's part of the problem, that she enabled your decline, that she's just as unstable as you are. I stood up and paced her small living room. My mind was spinning. Tyler had been planning this for months, maybe years. Every conversation, every friendly visit, every time he'd asked about our finances or our health or our plans, he'd been gathering intelligence, building his case. There's more, Rachel said. The man Tyler met in that parking lot? I did some research. His name is Howard Lane. He used to be military. Now he runs a private security firm, the kind that specializes in surveillance and intimidation. Tyler hired someone to follow us? I think he hired someone to follow Linda, to document her movements, her behavior, anything Tyler could use against her. That's probably who followed you today. Jesus Christ. Michael, I need to ask you something. What do you want to do about this? What do you mean? I mean, do you want to take this to the police? Try to stop Tyler legally? Because that's going to be hard. Most of what's in this folder is circumstantial. The forged signatures will be tough to prove. Tyler's good at covering his tracks. It could take months or years to untangle everything. And in the meantime, he'll keep coming after you. What's the alternative? She looked at me for a long moment. You could handle this yourself. Find Linda. Figure out what Tyler's planning. Stop him before he can execute it. Fight back. Fight back how? However you need to. Tyler's not going to stop because you ask nicely. He's not going to suddenly develop a conscience. He sees you and Linda as obstacles, as assets to be liquidated. If you want to protect yourself, you're going to have to get your hands dirty. I thought about Tyler's smile in that security footage. Thought about him trapping Linda between cars, draining our bank accounts, forging my signature, hiring people to follow my wife. Tell me what you know, I said. Everything. I want every detail. Rachel smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. It was the smile of someone who'd been waiting for permission to fight back. There's a storage facility on the east side of town, she said. Linda rented a unit there 3 months ago. Unit 47. She's been storing evidence, documents, recordings, everything she could find about Tyler's plans. She gave me the access code in case anything happened to her. Give it to me. She wrote the code on a piece of paper, handed it to me. Michael, once you open that unit, once you see what's inside, there's no going back. You can't unsee this. You can't pretend everything's normal. You'll have to make a choice about what kind of man you want to be. I already know what kind of man I want to be. What kind is that? The kind who doesn't let his son destroy his family. I left Rachel's apartment at 11:30 p.m. and drove to the storage facility. It was one of those places on the edge of town. Chain-link fence, security cameras that probably didn't work, rows of orange metal doors under flickering fluorescent lights. Unit 47 was in the back corner. I punched in the code Rachel had given me. The lock clicked. I rolled the door up. Inside was a folding table, a chair, and 3 cardboard boxes. I pulled the first box down and opened it. Files, hundreds of them, organized by date, each one documenting another piece of Tyler's scheme. The second box contained audio recordings, tiny digital recorder, dozens of files. I plugged it into my phone and listened. Tyler's voice, Megan's voice, conversations recorded secretly over months, planning, scheming, laughing about how stupid their parents were, how easy it was going to be. The third box was the worst. It contained a timeline, Linda's handwriting, detailed notes about everything Tyler had done, every lie, every theft, every manipulation. At the bottom was a note addressed to me. Michael, if you're reading this, it means I couldn't stop him. I'm sorry. I tried to protect you. I tried to fix this without dragging you into it. I failed. Tyler's planning something for the end of this month, something big. I don't know exactly what, but it involves Victor's company, our house, and some kind of public event. He's going to use it to destroy both of us completely. You have to stop him. I know you can. I love you. I'm sorry. Linda. I sat in that storage unit for an hour, reading, listening, planning. Rachel was right. I couldn't unsee this, couldn't pretend anymore. My son was a monster, and I was going to have to become something close to a monster myself if I wanted to stop him. I loaded all 3 boxes into my truck and drove home. The black sedan was parked outside my house again. I pulled into the driveway, got out, walked right up to the driver's side window, knocked on the glass. The window rolled down, professional, unbothered. Mr. Harran, he said, you're following me. I'm doing my job. Tyler's paying you. I don't discuss my clients. You're going to stop, tonight, or I'm calling the police. He smiled, not friendly, just acknowledging the threat. Call them. I'm parked on a public street, not breaking any laws, but you go ahead and make that call if it makes you feel better. I leaned close to his window. Tell Tyler I know everything. Tell him I found Linda's storage unit. Tell him I have all the evidence. And tell him if he comes near me or my wife again, I'll bury him with it. Howard Lane's expression didn't change. I'll pass along the message. I went inside, locked the door, checked every window. My phone buzzed. Text from Tyler. Dad, we need to talk. Tomorrow morning. My place. 9 a.m. Don't bring anyone. Don't tell anyone. Just you and me. Time to clear the air. I stared at that message for 5 minutes. Then I typed back, see you at 9. I had 12 hours to figure out how to survive this, and 12 hours to decide just how far I was willing to go. I spent Thursday morning doing normal things, breakfast, coffee, checking email, all while my stomach twisted itself into knots, thinking about tonight. At 2 p.m. I drove to Megan's boutique. It was in the upscale shopping district downtown. Small place, expensive clothes. The kind of store where you had to buzz to get in, and they looked at you like you couldn't afford anything before you even opened your mouth. I parked around back. Linda was already there, waiting in Victor's car. He'd let her borrow it, less conspicuous than her own. Ready? She asked as I climbed into the passenger seat. As I'll ever be. She had equipment in the back, small cameras, digital recorders, wireless microphones, all stuff Victor had access to through his security company. Where'd you learn to use all this? I asked. YouTube. Also, Howard Lane's company has a website. They list all their surveillance equipment. I figured if they're using it against us, we should know how it works. Smart. Linda had always been smart. We waited until the boutique closed at 6 crew, watched Megan lock up and drive away in her Range Rover, watched the street empty out as other shops closed for the day. At 6:15, Linda pulled out a key. Where'd you get that? I asked. Made a copy 6 months ago, back when Megan and I still pretended to like each other. She asked me to water her plants while they were on vacation. I kept the key, just in case. We went in through the back entrance. The boutique was dark, quiet, racks of expensive clothes casting strange shadows in the dim security lighting. Linda moved efficiently. She'd planned this out. Camera in the corner behind a decorative plant. another camera hidden in a picture frame on the wall, a third camera positioned to catch the front counter area. "We need audio too," she said, handing me wireless microphones. "Put these under the counter, behind the register, anywhere Tyler might stand and talk." I placed the microphones while Linda set up a laptop in the back office. She could monitor all the feeds from there, record everything. "Where will you be during the meeting?" I asked. "Back here, door cracked, recording. If things go wrong, if Tyler gets aggressive, I come out." "And if things go really wrong?" "Victor's on standby. I can call him and he'll have people here in 5 minutes. Tyler might bring people too." "I know, that's why we have backup. Rachel's parked 2 blocks away. She's got copies of everything. If we don't check in by 8, she goes to the police." Multiple layers of safety. Multiple fail-safes. It still felt dangerous. We finished setting up at 6:45, tested all the cameras, tested the audio. Everything worked. "You should take position," Linda said. "He'll be here soon." "Linda, I know. Be careful. I will." She kissed me, quick, then disappeared into the back office. I stood in the main room of the boutique, surrounded by clothes that cost more than I made in a week, and waited. At 6:58, headlights swept across the front windows. Tyler's Mercedes. He parked right out front, confident, like he owned the place. He got out. So did Megan. And so did a third person. Woman, mid-50s, professional clothes, carrying a briefcase. The lawyer, Jay Portman. Tyler had brought his lawyer. They walked to the front door. Tyler knocked. I went to let them in. "Dad," Tyler said, stepping inside. "Thanks for agreeing to meet." Tyler. Megan. I looked at the third woman. "I don't believe we've met." "Janet Portman," she said, extending a hand. "I'm Tyler's attorney." He didn't mention bringing an attorney. Standard procedure for legal documents. I'm just here to witness signatures and ensure everything's handled properly. Tyler looked around the boutique. Interesting choice of location. Neutral ground. Like I said. Megan's store is hardly neutral. More neutral than your house. He nodded slowly, conceding the point. Fair enough. Shall we? He gestured to the seating area near the front counter. Expensive chairs arranged around a glass coffee table. The kind of space where rich women sat and gossiped while sales associates brought them clothes. We all sat. Janet opened her briefcase and pulled out documents. Lots of them. "Your son has prepared a comprehensive care plan," she said. "It's designed to ensure your well-being and Linda's well-being while protecting your assets from mismanagement." Mismanagement by who? By anyone, including yourselves. These documents establish Tyler as the trustee of your estate. All financial decisions will require his approval. All major life decisions will require his consultation. It's for your protection. Sounds like it's for Tyler's benefit. Janet smiled. Professional. Cold. These arrangements are standard for elderly individuals who may be experiencing cognitive decline. They ensure continuity of care and financial stability. I'm 58. Linda's 56. We're not elderly. Age is relative. Mental competency is what matters, and Tyler has documented concerns about both of your mental states. She pulled out another set of documents. Medical reports, psychiatric evaluations, testimony from neighbors, all fake, all part of Tyler's manufactured case. "These doctors never examined me," I said. "They examined you remotely, based on reported behavior patterns. It's an accepted practice in cases where the patient refuses direct evaluation. I never refused anything. Nobody ever asked. Your son asked, multiple times. You declined." I looked at Tyler. He met my eyes without blinking, calm, confident. "This is bullshit," I said. "Dad, I know this is hard to accept, but it's necessary. Mom's gone. She ran away instead of facing reality. That tells me she's not mentally stable, and you're defending her, which tells me you're not thinking clearly either. I'm trying to help, That's all I've ever wanted to do. Help yourself to our money, you mean? I don't need your money. I'm successful on my own. This is about protecting you. Megan leaned forward. Michael, I know we've had our differences, but this isn't personal. This is about family, about taking care of people we love when they can't take care of themselves. I can take care of myself just fine. Can you? Tyler asked. Because from where I'm sitting, you look pretty unstable. You've been making accusations, following me, harassing me, threatening me. That's not normal behavior. You've been stealing from me, from Linda, for years. That's exactly the kind of paranoid delusion we're talking about. Dad, I haven't stolen anything. Every transaction was authorized. Every document was signed. If you don't remember signing them, that's part of the problem. Janet laid out the documents on the glass table. If you'll just sign here, and here, and here, we can move forward. Get you the help you need. Make sure you and Linda are taken care of. I stared at the documents. Power of attorney, trust agreements, medical directives, every single one designed to give Tyler complete control over my life. What if I don't sign? I asked. Then we proceed with the competency hearing, Janet said, which will be public, which will involve testimony from multiple witnesses, which will result in the same outcome, but with significantly more embarrassment for everyone involved. You'd drag me through court, publicly humiliate me. We'd present evidence to a judge, Tyler corrected. Legal process, nothing personal. Everything about this is personal. Tyler stood up, walked over to one of the clothing racks, ran his hand along the expensive fabrics. Do you remember when I was 12? He asked. You and Mom took me camping, up in the mountains. I wanted to go hiking on this trail that was marked dangerous. You said no. I threw a fit, said you were being unreasonable, said I could handle it. You still said no. I remember. I was so angry. I thought you were ruining my trip, being overprotective, treating me like a baby. But you were right. That trail was dangerous. 2 hikers died on it that same summer. You were protecting me even though I couldn't see it. This isn't the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. You can't see what's best for you right now. You're angry, you're confused, you're making bad decisions. So I'm protecting you, even though you can't see it, even though you hate me for it, because that's what family does. He turned to face me, that earnest expression he'd perfected over the years, the one that made people believe he cared. Just sign the papers, Dad. Make this easy, for everyone. This was it. The moment Linda and I had planned for. The moment when Tyler would reveal himself. You really believe that? I asked. That you're helping me? I know I am. Even though you forged my signature on documents, even though you drained our bank accounts, even though you hired someone to follow Linda? Tyler's expression didn't change. I did what was necessary to protect you from yourselves. Sometimes tough love means making hard choices. Tough love. Is that what you call stealing? I call it asset protection. And yes, I accessed your accounts. Because you were making poor financial decisions. Because you were vulnerable to exploitation. I moved the money to secure accounts where it couldn't be stolen or wasted. Accounts controlled by you. Accounts managed responsibly. That's the whole point. Janet cleared her throat. Gentlemen, we're getting off track. Mr. Harran, do you intend to sign these documents or not? I looked at the papers spread across the table, looked at Tyler standing by the clothing rack, looked at Megan watching me with calculating eyes, and I smiled. No, I said, I'm not signing anything. Tyler's jaw tightened. Dad? You want to know why? Because I know what you've been doing, all of it, every lie, every theft, every manipulation. Linda and I have been documenting everything. We have evidence, recordings, witness testimony, bank records, forged signatures, all of it. That's ridiculous. Is it? Let me be more specific. I know about the estate account you set up with my mother's house money. I know about the forged property transfer. I know about Howard Lane and his surveillance operation. I know about the doctors you paid to write fake evaluations. I know about the social media campaign to make Linda look unstable. I know everything. Tyler didn't move, didn't speak. But something shifted in his eyes. Calculation, reassessment. You're bluffing, he said finally. Am I? You want to test that theory? Because I've got copies of everything stored in multiple locations. If anything happens to me or Linda, it all goes public. It all goes to the police. It all goes to the media. Your entire scheme gets exposed. Megan stood up quickly. Tyler, maybe we should go. Sit down, Tyler said sharply. She sat. He walked closer to me. Not threatening, just closing distance. Let's say you're telling the truth. Let's say you have some evidence. It won't matter. It's all circumstantial. It's all he said, she said. A jury would never convict, and the competency hearing would still proceed, because even if I did do the things you're claiming, that doesn't change the fact that you're not thinking clearly, that you need help. You're good, I said. I'll give you that. You've thought this through, built your case carefully, but you made one mistake. What's that? You underestimated your mother. Tyler's expression flickered, just for a second. What does that mean? It means Linda's smarter than you gave her credit for. It means while you were busy playing games, she was busy gathering evidence that would hold up in court. Real evidence. Undeniable evidence. Like what? Like video of you breaking into Victor's office. Like audio recordings of you and Megan planning this entire scheme. Like testimony from people you threatened or bribed. Like forensic analysis of the forged signatures showing they were created digitally, not signed by hand. I was making some of this up. Bluffing. But Tyler didn't know that, and the fear in his eyes told me I'd hit close enough to the truth to matter. Where is she? He asked quietly. Somewhere you can't reach her. Somewhere safe. Somewhere she can keep working on exposing you. Dad, this is insane. You're talking like we're criminals. Like we've committed some kind of conspiracy. We're family. We're trying to help you. No, you're trying to steal from us. And now that we've figured it out, you're scrambling to justify it, to spin it, to make it look like something other than what it is. Janet started gathering her documents. Mr. Harran, I strongly advise you to reconsider. The legal consequences of refusing help could be severe. Let them be severe. I'll take my chances. Tyler pulled out his phone, typed something, put it away. Who are you texting? I asked. None of your business. You're calling Howard Lane, telling him to find Linda. What if I am? She's my mother. I have every right to make sure she's okay. You have no rights, not anymore. You burned those bridges when you decided to steal from your own parents. Tyler's phone buzzed. He read the message, smiled. What? I demanded. Nothing, just interesting timing. Howard says he just located Mom's car, parked about 2 blocks from here. Funny coincidence, don't you think? She's here, isn't she? Tyler said, looking around the boutique. Somewhere in this building, listening, recording. That's why you wanted to meet here. That's why you've been so confident. You've got cameras set up. This whole thing is a trap. He walked to the decorative plant in the corner, moved the leaves aside, found the camera, ripped it out of the dirt, and crushed it under his heel. Tyler, stop, I said, standing up. He found the second camera, the one in the picture frame, smashed it against the wall. Where is she? He demanded. Where's the other camera? Where's Mom? Get out. Get out of here right now. Not until I find her. Not until we settle this. He headed toward the back of the store, toward the office where Linda was hiding. I moved to block him. Don't. Get out of my way, Dad. No. He shoved me, hard. I stumbled back into a clothing rack, expensive dresses falling around me. Tyler kept walking. Megan and Janet stayed by the front door, uncertain. I got up and followed him. Tyler, stop. This isn't going to end well for you. It's already not ending well. Might as well go all in. He reached the office door, tried the handle, locked. Linda, he shouted. I know you're in there. Open the door. No response. He kicked the door. Once. Twice. The frame splintered. Tyler, please, I said. Just leave. Walk away. We can still… Still what? Pretend this didn't happen? Go back to being a happy family? That ship sailed the moment you and Mom decided to treat me like an enemy instead of someone trying to help. He kicked the door again. It burst open. Linda was standing in the office, laptop in front of her, camera pointed at the door, recording everything. "Hello, Tyler," she said calmly. He froze, stared at her. "Mom, you just destroyed evidence, assault, breaking and entering, all on camera, all recorded. You just handed us everything we need." Tyler looked at the laptop, at the camera, at the satisfied expression on his mother's face, and he laughed. "You think this matters?" he said. "You think a judge is going to care about this? I was trying to reach my mother, my missing mother. I was concerned for her safety. I acted out of fear and love. Any jury would understand." Would they? Would they understand the forged signatures, the stolen money, the manufactured medical reports? That's your word against mine, and my word comes with documentation, with witnesses, with a track record of being a concerned son trying to help his troubled parents. Your word comes with nothing but paranoia and accusations. He stepped into the office. Linda backed up against the far wall. I moved forward. "Tyler, that's enough." He ignored me, focused entirely on Linda. "You made this so much harder than it needed to be. All you had to do was cooperate, sign some papers, accept help. But you had to be difficult, you had to run. You had to turn Dad against me. Now look what you've forced me to do." "I haven't forced you to do anything. You chose this, all of it." "No, you chose this. When you decided your pride was more important than family. When you decided you'd rather hide like a coward than face reality. The reality is, you're a thief, a liar, a manipulator. I'm a son trying to save his parents from themselves. You're trying to steal our lives." Tyler reached for the laptop. Linda tried to grab it first. They struggled. The laptop fell, hit the floor. The screen cracked, but stayed on. Still recording. "Let go!" Linda shouted. "Give it to me!" I grabbed Tyler's arm, pulled him back. He spun and swung at me, caught me in the jaw. Not hard enough to knock me down, but hard enough to make my vision blur. I swung back, hit him in the chest. He staggered. We stood there, father and son, both breathing hard, both ready to escalate further. "Stop!" Megan's voice from the doorway. "Everyone just stop!" She was crying, mascara running down her face. "This is insane. We're family. We shouldn't be fighting like this." "Tell that to your husband," Linda said. "He's the one who started this. I started trying to help. You started fighting me at every turn. Because you were stealing from us. I was protecting assets. You were stealing." The argument devolved into shouting, all of us yelling at once, all of us trying to be heard over each other. And then a new voice cut through the chaos. "That's enough." Victor Alden stood in the boutique entrance. He wasn't alone. 2 police officers flanked him. "I've called the authorities," Victor said calmly. "I think it's time we let them sort this out." Tyler's face went white. "You called the cops?" "I called them 20 minutes ago, when Linda texted me that you'd discovered the cameras. I figured things would escalate. I was right." One of the officers stepped forward. "Everyone needs to calm down and step outside. Now." "Officer, my name is Janet Portman. I'm an attorney representing Tyler Harran. My client has done nothing wrong. He was simply trying to locate his missing mother." "By breaking down a door and assaulting his father?" Victor asked. "I have security footage of the entire incident, including Mr. Harran destroying surveillance equipment and engaging in physical violence. That footage was obtained illegally. This is private property. You had no right to record without consent." "Actually, I did. This is Megan Harran's boutique. She leases the space from me. As the landlord, I have every right to maintain security cameras on my property. Cameras that captured everything that happened here tonight." The officer looked at Tyler. "Sir, I'm going to need you to come with me." "On what charge?" Assault, destruction of property, criminal trespass. We'll sort out the details at the station. Tyler looked at me, at Linda, at the ruins of his carefully constructed plan. This isn't over, he said quietly. Yes, I said. It is. They took him away. Janet followed, already on her phone calling more lawyers. Megan stayed. She looked at Linda and me with something that might have been regret, or might have been calculation. Hard to tell with her. I didn't know, she said, about the forged signatures, about the stolen money. I thought Tyler was just helping you organize your finances. He told me you both wanted him to take over, that you'd asked him to. Did you really believe that? Linda asked. Megan looked away. I wanted to. It was easier than believing my husband was stealing from his own parents. You posted about me on social media. You helped build the narrative that I was unstable. Tyler asked me to. He said it was part of protecting you, making sure people knew to watch out for warning signs. I didn't realize he was using it against you. You didn't ask questions. No, I didn't. And I'm sorry. She walked out. Victor, Linda, and I stood in the destroyed boutique. Broken cameras, splintered door, overturned furniture. What happens now? I asked. Now? Victor said. Now you two go home. Get some rest. Tomorrow we present everything to the district attorney. All of Linda's evidence, all of tonight's footage. We build a case that Tyler can't spin or deny, and we make sure he never comes near either of you again. And the gala? Linda asked. Still happening, and you're both still invited. In fact, I insist you come. Show everyone that you're fine, that you're strong, that you didn't let Tyler's scheme destroy you. I don't know if I can face all those people, Linda said. You can. You're tougher than you think. Both of you are. We left the boutique at 9:30 p.m. Rachel met us outside. She'd been waiting the whole time, ready to call for backup if needed. Is it over? She asked. Not yet, I said. But soon. Linda and I drove home together. Her car was still at Victor's building. She'd get it later. Right now, we just needed to be together. At home, we sat in the living room. Didn't turn on the TV. Didn't talk much. Just sat close, processing everything that had happened. He really would have done it, Linda said finally. Would have taken everything. Destroyed us completely. And he would have convinced himself he was doing the right thing. I know. How did we raise someone like that? I don't know. Maybe we didn't. Maybe he raised himself, made his own choices. I keep thinking about when he was little, when he was sweet, when he cared about things other than money and status. That was a long time ago. I know. But I can't help thinking if we'd done something different, if we'd seen the warning signs earlier, maybe. Stop. Don't do that to yourself. Tyler made his choices. We did our best. That's all anyone can do. She nodded. Didn't look convinced. We went to bed around midnight. Tomorrow was Friday. Tomorrow was the gala. Tomorrow we'd face everyone who mattered and show them that we weren't broken, weren't defeated. Tomorrow we'd win.